The glutes are one of the most important muscles that you want to strengthen in your whole body. And not just these big glute muscles right here. I'm talking about all the little muscles underneath your glutes that stabilize your hip, knee, ankle, and lower back. And today, I'm going to teach you how to activate your glutes and how to strengthen them in a way that's safe and actually feels good on your body. Now, I'm so happy you're here because this is a really important topic. You see, after being a personal trainer for almost 20 years, one of the most common things I see is that people suffer with something called glute amnesia. And what this basically means is you're not able to properly use your glute muscles. And if you can't use your glute muscles properly, well, then you've got to use your knees and your lower back instead of the muscles around your hips. We end up having aches, pains, injuries, and our bodies end up feeling really horrible. And I know this because one of my clients a long time ago had glute amnesia, and she was a marathon runner. And what happened was every step she took, she was using her knees to make that motion happen instead of her hips. But after working together, we reactivated her glutes, and she was able to run using her hip muscles again. This made running so much easier and way less painful on the rest of her body. And today, I'm going to show you the exact steps that I took with her to fix her glutes and strengthen them so she could feel good again. And I really hope it helps you out. The first thing we need to do is start activating your glute maximus muscle. That's the big muscle on the backside of your butt cheek that does a lot of the work. But again, most people can't use it. The best way to activate this muscle that I've found is to do what's called a prone glute activation. So what you're going to do is lie down on your stomach, and we're going to do this drill together. You can also do this in bed or an area that's soft, so you don't have to lie down all the way on the floor. So what you're going to do is relax your body as a starting point. Then we're going to curl one heel towards the sky like this. And then all you're going to do is push your hips down into the ground. That's really important because if we don't push the hips down into the ground as you do this, and you lift your hips and arch your lower back, then you're using your lower back muscles and your hamstrings rather than your glutes. So keep the hips pushed down the entire time. From there, what you're going to try to do is lift your knee off the ground, even just a ½ inch or an inch, until you feel your glute muscle right here starting to fire. You can even reach back and touch it and feel the glute muscle actually firing as you do this. I want you to hold for a couple seconds and then just relax. And then repeat this motion for 1 minute on the right side, really trying to build the conscious awareness of how it feels to squeeze that glute muscle to fully extend the hip. Now, once you've done 1 minute on this side, go ahead and curl your other leg up, and let's repeat for 1 minute on the opposite side, doing the same exact thing. Really focusing on squeezing that glute muscle for a few seconds, and then resting and repeating. You should practice this drill every single day to start building the awareness of what it feels like to activate your glute max muscle, so that way you could end up using that muscle when you're doing all kinds of different movements, like walking upstairs, doing squats, lunges, etc. The second part of activating your glute muscles is to focus on activating the muscles underneath your glute max called the hip external rotators. These are really, really important, especially if you have aches and pains in your knees, your feet, or your lower back. What these muscles do is they stabilize the rotation of the thigh from side to side. And if they're turned off, a lot of people end up with their knee coming in like this. And like I said, they end up with pain in their knee, their foot, their ankle, and even their lower back. So here's how to activate and really start to feel those muscles so you can use them in your daily life. You're going to start in front of a chair or a countertop that's a nice sturdy surface like this. And then we're going to bring our feet nice and close together with our toes pointed straight forward. Now from there, what we're going to do is push our butt back and bow forward from the hips, and then do a soft bend to the knees, just a real soft bend. And you can use your fingertips on the chair for support, or if you need to, your hands on the chair for support. This shouldn't feel like you're using your lower back and we're leaning our body forward like this. It should feel more like we're pushing our butt back behind our heels, and you're feeling a stretch through the glutes and the hamstrings like this. Now from there, and this is really important, as we shift our weight to one foot, I don't want you to lean to the side, because what we're going to do next is we're going to lift one leg and shift our weight over 1 foot. So if you're looking at it from a more front angle, we don't want to do this and tip our body to the side. That means all those muscles are turned off and it's not going to do anything for you. Instead, we want to stay upright, and then we want to shift our weight to one side, curl that other foot towards the sky like this, and all we're going to do is hold this position. Now what we want to feel is the muscles on the outside of the hip starting to fire. They should start to feel like they're burning after about 15 to 30 seconds. If you don't feel that, a couple things you can try to do is shift the weight more to your heels, bend your knees slightly more, And imagine like you're turning your knee, this knee right here, outward to the outside instead of letting it cave inward. That should activate those muscles. And I want you to hold this position for anywhere between 30 to 90 seconds until you feel all those muscles inside your hip starting to burn. Once you're done with that, bring the other foot down, shake it out, rest for as much time as you need to, and then switch to the other side. Again, the quick setup, feet right underneath the hips, toes straight forward, push the butt back, weight on the heels, soft bend to the knees, fingertips on the chair, shift your weight over, lift the leg, and hold that position for 30 to 90 seconds until that side of your hip burns, okay? Okay, now that you know what it feels like to activate all the muscles in your glutes, we're gonna do a simple progression of a movement called the glute bridge. And I'm gonna start you with a beginner variation and work you up towards a more advanced variation over the course of this video. Make sure you pick a variation that feels like the right fit for you. And what that means is, if you can do it for 60 seconds with perfect form, then that's probably the right fit for you. If you can't, then probably go down a level and practice that one until you master it before moving up. You can do a simple routine like 3 rounds of 60 seconds of whichever level you choose, 3 days per week, to start strengthening and activating your glutes so that you can use them in your daily life to make life so much easier. Let's get started with the first variation. Okay, for the level 1 variation in our series of doing glute bridge lifts to strengthen your glutes, we're gonna do a simple movement called the glute bridge squeeze. I'm gonna take a little extra time on this one to make sure your setup is perfect, because we're gonna use the same setup for every single level moving forward. So a big mistake that people make when they're doing the glute bridge is they put their palms toward the ground like this. And when we turn our shoulders and palms inward, we encourage bad posture like this. So what we really wanna do is turn our palms toward the sky like this on every single variation. The second thing, we want to watch out for shrugging our shoulders up like this and creating tension in our neck and traps. Our neck and traps should be relaxed during this movement, so drive your shoulders down and away from your ears, and you should even feel the muscles underneath your rib cage and underneath your armpits firing to accomplish this. That'll help strengthen the core while you're doing the glute bridge lift and protect your neck and shoulders. And the final thing is, let's lift our toes towards our nose as we do this movement so that we're really emphasizing hip extension. If we push our toes down into the ground like this, we're gonna activate our quads more and our glutes a lot less. So lifting the toes toward the nose and pushing into the heels can really make this a much better exercise for your glutes. Okay, this first variation is called the glute bridge squeeze. And all we're gonna do is practice the same feeling that we had in the prone glute activation of what it feels like to activate our glute as we extend our hip like this. So with your feet straight forward, right underneath your hips, palms toward the sky, fingertips away from the ears, what we're gonna do first is press the lower back into the ground, squeeze the glutes, and just lift the lower body up just a tiny bit. It's totally fine if all you can do is just a ½ inch or an inch. What we really want to do is, can we feel the glutes firing in this position? Squeeze for a couple seconds, and then slowly come back down, tap the tailbone, and repeat, just like this. Focusing on driving the movement from the extension of the hips and by squeezing the glute muscles. We should feel all those glute muscles that we activated earlier activating right now. And if you don't, look down at your knees, make sure your knees are pushed out a little bit, not wobbling inward like this, okay? This can turn off those hip external rotators that we just activated. And again, make sure we're lifting our toes up and driving the weight into our heels. Now, if you can do this movement where we're just squeezing the glute and lifting up and then coming back down for an entire minute, and you feel like you can do it with perfect form, then try out the next level. Okay, for level 2, we're gonna come to a full hip extension and do a full glute bridge lift. So for this one, we're gonna set everything up the same way as we did before, but this time, you're gonna start with the glute bridge squeeze, and then you're gonna see if you can finish your hips all the way until your knees, hips, and shoulders are in one straight line. Now, we don't wanna overextend our back like this. That can put some undue pressure on your lower back and get the spine involved. What we really wanna do is, again, maintain the lift from the glutes. Hold for a couple seconds and come back down just like we did before. You can inhale as you come up and squeeze, exhale as you come back down to the ground. Move slow and controlled, and only move on from this movement if you're able to do this for 60 seconds with perfect form. Okay, for the third level, we're gonna do a glute bridge hold. So setup is the same as before. We're gonna drive into the heels, squeeze the glutes, bring our hips all the way into alignment with our knees and shoulders. And this time, we're gonna see if we can hold for 60 full seconds. If you're able to hold this position
for 60 full seconds. Then you can move on to the next level. For the fourth level, we're gonna make things quite a bit harder. So make sure you listen to your body and only do this if it feels good. We're gonna bring our feet a little bit closer together, almost touching. And on this variation, what we're gonna do is we're going to extend our hips, but this time only with one leg. So I'm gonna extend this leg out, still lift my toes towards my nose, and keep my knees in the same line. It's really important that as you do this, your hips don't shift from side to side like this, but they stay parallel to the ground. Now what we're gonna do here is set up the same way, press that one heel into the ground, extend the hips, hold for a second, and then come back down. And you can alternate sides on every repetition like this to give the other side a little moment of rest. And again, make sure that your hip isn't wobbling inward like this. So we don't want to lift up and let the hip wobble inward like this. We don't want to make the hips twist and turn like this. Everything stays the same as if you had 2 feet on the ground. Now, if you're able to do this in an alternating fashion with perfect form, and you feel like everything feels good about this, then we can move on to the final variation. Okay, for our final variation today of our glute bridge lift, we're gonna do a single leg glute bridge hold. And this time your goal is 30 seconds on the left side and 30 seconds on the right side. So the setup is the same as the last level, extending the hips all the way, squeezing the glutes, lifting one leg, and then holding for 30 seconds. You're gonna really start to feel all those muscles that you activated burn if you're on this level. And then what you're gonna do is at 30 seconds, bring one foot down, make sure you're nice and stable, bring the other foot up, check your hips, make sure they're not wobbling from side to side, and see if you can hold that position for 30 more seconds. If you're able to do this level for a whole minute on each side, you're gonna have strong, active, stable glutes that are gonna make your whole body feel so much better.
If you want your whole body to feel better, then that's what we do at WeShape. We teach you how to move better and feel better by first teaching you how to activate the right muscles in your body, then teaching you how to do these movements with perfect form that relate to your daily life, and finally, we give you step-by-step levels to make sure that you always have the next level to continue making progress safely. If you want to try a free 2-week plan where we give you workouts and stretching programs that you can do from home in just 10 minutes, all you have to do is click the link below.